Hi everybody, this is Joanna with Abstract Art Journal, and today I'm going to do an acrylic abstract painting tutorial for you. I did this painting and using sponges, and so I want to try to recreate that today for you. So what we're going to be using is, I'm using Liquitex Basics Acrylics, this one titanium white, this color is ultramarine blue, and I'm also going to be using cadmium yellow light hue. Now for the flower that's in the painting, I'm going to actually use spray golden fluid acrylics, quinadrone magenta in a spray bottle. The other thing I'm going to be using is I went ahead and made a little design for the flower so we don't get a lot of overspray on the painting. I'm going to be using this kind of a sponge to do it with. I cut these in 4 pieces so I can use a little piece with each color. I'm going to be using a paper palette, and I'm probably going to use some makeup sponges also. So let's go ahead and get started. The actual painting looks like it does have blue and white mixed, so let's go ahead and put down some paint on the palette. I'll put down a little white, and then I'm also going to put some white to mix with the blue and the yellow. So we'll do that. Okay. Put down a little bit of the blue. We have some blue in some spots, not too much. This paint goes a long way, so we'll put a little bit of yellow down. And it's interesting because I do some paintings with brushes, but I also use scrapers and, in this case, sponges. To prepare the panel, I'm using a canvas panel, an 8x10. And I always go ahead and put gesso on these. Now I put like a drop of gesso and went ahead and used the scraper on it to get a really thin coat of gesso. And I let that dry. So what I wanted to show you as far as the spray bottle, on the golden fluid acrylics you can make your own spray paint. So I wanted you to see this just has a little bit of water in it, and you put about the same amount of the golden fluid acrylics in it, you know, a couple of drops, to make a spray paint. So this is the spray paint we're going to be using for the flower. And I got these little bottles at Michael's. They do have the little top on it, so it should keep the paint. So we'll do that last. But let's go ahead and start preparing the painting. I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit of blue with some white with just the sponge. And we'll just start putting in some blue color with the sponge. Now, because we know the flower is in the middle, what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and leave some white areas, you know, for where the flower is. And so this shows you this goes pretty fast. To me, when you do the sponge painting, it looks kind of dreamy looking. You can't get these kind of marks with a brush. So sometimes you'll look at a painting and say to yourself, well, I mean, how did they do that? Or, like, did they use a brush to do that? How did they get that type of look? So that's what, you know, I like to experiment with all these different kinds of things. The sponges and scrapers and, you know, different things to try to figure it out what they use to make the different paintings. So we'll do a little bit more here, a little bit more blue. And then I'll go ahead and put some yellow in, and we're almost ready for our spray paint. When you're doing the sponging, it goes really, really fast. Today I am using a dry sponge because I want to get the painting done. You will get a little bit different effect if you do a damp sponge, meaning, you know, you could dip your sponge in water rather, and then go ahead and squeeze it out really good and use kind of a damp sponge. And you will get, by doing that, you'll get some sponge marks. You know, like this has like those little tiny things in it. So we'll go ahead and get a sponge in some yellow and white to get kind of that look. When you want to change the color on a painting, especially when it's still wet, you need to put white down first. I am going to put some yellow over this area, but I want the blue to show through. But if you didn't want, say, the blue to show through, you would go ahead and paint white over it first and then go ahead and put your color in. So right now we're putting in the yellow color, and I'm putting a little bit of white with it so we get like the real light color. And we're trying to make a similar painting to the painting that we did. We're not trying to do the exact same painting. What happens sometimes is, sometimes I like to work in a series where I'm making a similar painting. It's not the exact same painting. What happens is sometimes you'll want to use similar colors and come up with a similar theme, and then have different paintings that kind of all go together. So we're trying to do something similar today with this. We want to try to recreate something close to the other painting, maybe not exact. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put this on the painting. It's still wet, but the reason I do this, we'll do it a little bit so you don't get the overspray. What happened was, okay, that works. Oh, the color is just beautiful. It is a little wet, and what I'll do is I'll take a makeup sponge and we're going to go in just like in the center area and try to get back a little white area. This is basically an abstract flower. It's not an actual flower. I'm going to sponge over a little bit because I think I was a little too close to the actual painting. We're going to get a different look now by doing that. But you can kind of see what I mean about the overspray. So I'm going to dab it up a little bit, and then we'll spray it again, and I'll try to spray it a little bit further away so it's not as wet. Okay, let's try from about here. Okay, there we go. Okay. But it makes a great sprayer. Okay, so we're getting something similar, maybe not exactly the same. What'll happen is we can go ahead and try to, put in a little more area, but we wanted like something, like I say, similar, and then you can use a sponge over certain areas to change it up a little bit. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. But I wanted you to see how I got the spray. I'll try to just do a little bit by itself, but the problem is, there you go. That's the kind of look you're getting. So that took just a couple of seconds, and we got something very, very similar. Now what I'm going to do is maybe I'll take the towel and try to get a little white area there in the center. So here's our sample that took just a couple of seconds, and here's the original. So I think we can get this in the camera. So you can see, like when you're playing around with your paints and your different sprays, you can get a really cool effect. So hope you had fun watching. Hope you have fun trying out these ideas. Thanks for watching, and have a great art day.